Living in Myrtle Beach is not all rainbows and unicorns. There are a couple of downsides, and today we're going over the 3 worst parts about living in Myrtle Beach during the spring. Welcome to another video. I appreciate you joining me. Yes, I did just get a fresh haircut. I actually just got back from that. Went a little bit shorter this time because it is getting into the spring months. It's getting a little bit warmer and there's just no need for all that hair. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Nick Pelosi. I'm a real estate agent here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this channel is dedicated to helping you relocate to the area. I make videos on things to do in Myrtle Beach. I give tips and tricks about the area, and of course, I talk about the real estate. Real quick, before we hop into the video, if you could do me a favor and smash that like button, I'd appreciate it so much. It really helps me and the channel out. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already, and the notification bell. This way you can be informed every single time I post a new video. Today's video, as I mentioned, we're going to be going over the 3 worst parts about living in the area during the springtime. 2 of those things have to do with the tourism. The first thing we're going to talk about is the traffic. Every year the traffic starts to get bad in mid-March, early April, as people are on spring break. They start vacationing to the area, and the traffic gets pretty bad every summer. It stays bad almost all summer because we have millions of people who come to vacation at the beach in the summer. But you sort of get used to it, towards the end of the summer. You start to get used to the times of day there's going to be traffic. You start to get used to the roads where there's going to be traffic. But every spring it kind of hits you like a ton of bricks. You go from there being nobody on the road. It's really quick to get to work, to the grocery store, doctor, wherever you're going, and then all of a sudden, boom, all these cars on the road, people on vacation, they don't know where they're going, and it's just a shocker every spring. You almost sort of forget about it, and then it's that instant reminder. Also, side note, South Carolina Department of Transportation, they love to save their road projects for the spring for some reason. It's like they're almost waiting for spring break and tons of people to be on the road. Just yesterday I'm driving to work and those dang orange cones are out, and they have a lane shut down where traffic tends to build up a little bit anyways because there's people merging onto the road. It's going from 4 or 5 lanes down to 2. And then, of course, they had one of the lanes shut down right there. And again, during spring break, I don't know why they couldn't have got this done like a month ago when it's still winter and there's less people on the road. But hey, that's just me. That's my opinion. But yeah, that's number one. One of the bad things about living in Myrtle Beach in the spring, it's the traffic. The next downside to living in Myrtle Beach during the spring, again, has to do with the tourism. And it's just the amount of people who are trying to go out to eat and go to restaurants. Again, you go from being able to go to some of your favorite restaurants during prime time, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and there being absolutely no wait. You can walk in, sit down, get your food relatively quickly, and then all of a sudden, boom, spring break hits. You drive past some of your favorite restaurants, especially at the prime times. And there's just lines out the door, people waiting. You might have to wait 45 minutes, an hour and a half for some places that normally you could just walk right into and sit down. So that's definitely a downside, especially if some of your favorite restaurants are those touristy restaurants. You just got to get used to, eating at other places that might not necessarily have a wait. Or you just need to be fitting that into a schedule. If you're not going to be going to the local places that the tourists don't really know about, you just got to fit that into your schedule that you're going to be waiting maybe 30, 45, an hour to go eat. Don't wait till the last minute to go out and go to a restaurant because you're not going to sit down right away. That's especially bad for somebody like me. I tend to get pretty hangry when I haven't had food in a couple hours. So I definitely need to remember to plan ahead and, expect that extra hour before I'm able to sit down if I'm going to go out to eat. And the third downside to living in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, I guess in the South just in general from what I hear during the springtime, is the dang pollen. And this is probably my biggest pet peeve. It's the biggest downside for me, because there's just absolutely nothing that you can do about it. You know, the tourism, the traffic, the waits for restaurants, that's all stuff you can plan around, stuff you can figure out. The pollen, there's just absolutely nothing you can do about it. It's so much different if you're coming from up north. I'm from New York. I'd never seen anything like this until I moved down here. You may notice if you've been in the area in the spring, you know, everything sort of has this like yellowish green film on it. You know, you're driving around, it takes only about a day. If it's bad out, 2 or 3 days. If it's pretty mild, for your car to just get this yellow like sort of dust just covering absolutely everything. Luckily, I do not have bad allergies. If you do have bad allergies, this is an even worse thing for you. And it's different. It's a different type of pollen than if you're coming from other parts of the country. I know a lot of people who came from like New York who never had allergies up there, but they moved down south, and it gets them, and it gets them good. Like I said, I am lucky to not have bad allergies. There's a couple days when I'll get a little bit congested or my eyes will get itchy. But for me, it gets all over everything. It's a mess. I can't stand it. And little pointer, it's bad enough that the outside of your cars, the outside of our homes get covered in this stuff. You need to make sure you're not opening your windows and leaving the doors and windows open during this time of the year. First year I moved down here, I knew it was pollen season. I saw it getting all over everything, but I didn't think it would come in like through the windows. I have the rain guards on my car, cracked open the windows a little bit, went into work, came out a couple hours later, and the inside of my car was entirely yellow. It was one of those bad days where just a couple hours outside and everything was covered. It got in all the little cracks and crevices, and I had to spend hours dusting and vacuuming out my car to get all of that stuff out of all the little cracks in the seats and all the little vents. It was absolutely awful. Same thing goes for your home. The pollen will go through the screens. Even the screens they tell you that are a lot finer and keeps the pollen out, it doesn't. My aunt actually made that mistake when she first moved down here. She left the windows open in her house. It was a nice spring day, you know, like 65, 70 degrees. One of those days where you just want to have all the windows open and let the fresh air in, but you can't do that during pollen season. The entire inside of your house just had this yellow film all over it, and it was just a pain to clean up. I can only imagine how hard it was to clean my little car. If you get that stuff all over the inside of your entire home, that's just not something you want to deal with. So that's a pro tip. You know, living down here in the spring, you need to keep your windows shut. This way you don't have that stuff all over the inside of your car or house. And that's going to be it for this video. Pretty quick topic, 3 worst parts about living in Myrtle Beach during the spring. And 2 of those things had to do with the tourism, the traffic, and the waits for restaurants. And then my biggest pet peeve is that pollen that we get here in the spring every single year. I want to thank you for watching. Please go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't done so already. It really helps me out, lets me know that you enjoyed this video, and it helps others like you see the content. This way they can get tips and advice about moving to the area just like you. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I post videos on this channel every single Thursday, and if you hit those, you'll be the first to know every time I post a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.